this episode of Nature Talks. I'm Brandon, a naturalist and wildlife biologist. Today we'll be here in the eastern woodland fringes of Nebraska along the Platte River, looking at three of the most common native snake species here. Specifically the fox snake, the black rat snake, and the bull snake. And while the black rat snake and the fox snakes are found in this dense woodland type area, the bull snake is really found on extended prairie fringes or disturbed grassland areas. So let's go ahead and take a look at these amazing animals. This is a little baby western fox snake. They do get quite a bit bigger than this, up and over 5 feet in length. But they're also a very common snake here in eastern Nebraska, and they're found throughout the Midwest, like Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin and Illinois, Indiana, around those areas. Although as you head farther east, you get more into the eastern species of fox snake. But this is the western species. Up until recently, they were classified as subspecies, but now they have their own species rank. As you can see, up towards the head, they have these beautiful rusty red sort of blotches against a brown background, and it fades to a little bit darker as you go towards the tail here. But these are in the same genus as like your black rat snakes and your corn snakes, Pantherophis, as under recent taxonomic classification. They're typically not an aggressive snake. Wild ones can be aggressive at times, but they usually tame and calm down pretty easily. Belonging to the rat snake family, they are also constrictors, and they'll eat rats and mice very frequently. Larger ones will take things like a rat, but they typically don't get big enough to take things like rabbits or such, like bull snakes and black rat snakes can. In various parts of their range, they're often killed because people mistake them for Masaga rattlesnakes. The patterns on the dorsal side are somewhat similar, although rattlesnakes are a much thicker body and more of a triangular shaped head, and obviously a rattle on the end. This little snake is probably less than a year old. They're about a foot long when they hatch from their eggs, and in another couple of years they'll probably top out at about 4 or 5 feet or so. Around here, these are also commonly mistaken for bull snakes, but bull snakes typically have more of a black blotching around the neck, and then black spots towards the tail against like a straw-colored background. But a very lovely snake. And you typically don't find them out in the western portions of the state. So this is a black rat snake. This is about a medium-sized one. They grow up to be the second largest snake that's native to Nebraska. About 8.5 feet long or so, but they get quite a bit lighter than something like a bull snake. These guys, as the name implies, are eating mostly rats and mice, small mammals. They're somewhat arboreal, so they will climb trees to go after birds' nests and eggs and things like that. You can see she's settling down pretty well right now. But these guys are also constrictors, so like a python or an anaconda or boa constrictor, they'll squeeze their prey to death before they consume it. All snakes swallow their food whole. A snake this size, although it's not venomous, they can inflict a fairly nasty bite that can be quite bloody. You can see she's tensing up a little bit here. These snakes, they have somewhat of a varied pattern underneath, if I can show you here. If you can look at these ventral scales here, you'll notice that they're somewhat checkered pattern, and this can range from like a creamy white up to a much darker color towards the tail here, specifically in this specimen. But black rat snakes are fairly well distinguished from other snakes like racers in that they have a very creamy and white colored bottom lip on their mandible, or their lower jaw. Not too terribly happy right now. But they're not an overly aggressive snake, even though they can and will bite if given the opportunity. Bites from these guys usually aren't too nasty. But really big specimens here can get up and over 7 feet long. Even 8-footers are not unheard of. And actually this species holds the record of being the longest native snake officially ever measured in North America at about 8.5 feet in length. She's getting plenty riled up here, so we'll probably... There you can see the mouth is open. She's giving a little hiss. And if you look carefully along the bottom jaw, you can see little tiny teeth. Now these teeth are needle sharp. They work like little tiny needles. And when they bite, there isn't much pain involved, but their saliva has an anti-collagen agent, which helps you to bleed and prevents your blood from clotting. Can I see here? This is a bull snake. They grow up to be the largest snake that's native to Nebraska. This one's about half grown. She can grow up to be about 8 feet long and weigh about 10 pounds when fully grown. That's about as big around as a pop can. Right now she's just a little over 4 feet long. You can kind of see there. You can see the underside of her ventral scales too, how it's this cream colored and checkered pattern, which really adds to the beauty of this snake. These guys are constrictors, so like a python or an anaconda, they'll squeeze their prey to death. They commonly eat rats and mice. Really big ones might take things like rabbits and squirrels, things of that nature. But they almost exclusively eat small mammals. One of the myths associated with these guys, particularly in western Nebraska, is that they eat rattlesnakes. And while that's not beyond the realm of impossibility, studies have shown that they very, very rarely take reptiles, if at all. And so these guys do not eat other snakes. They almost exclusively eat small mammals. And this black coloration that's up near the neck here, and also you can kind of see the spots at the end of the tail, they also get much darker in color. That's fairly typical for eastern Nebraska. As you head farther out west, they typically become a little bit more this rusty brown color. Although it's not impossible to find individuals with the black coloration. And like I said, this one's about half grown. She's eating rats right now, but she makes a really good show snake. Aggressive. Bull snakes are... Bull snakes in the wild are typically far more aggressive than this one. This one is tamed pretty well. For this portion of the episode, we're going to go ahead and show you how we feed each of these 3 snakes that you've already seen here today. We'll start out feeding the little fox snake first, and then we'll move up from the black rat snake to the bull snake after that. And all these snakes, like I previously said, they are constrictors, so they like to squeeze their prey to death. And even though we're feeding them dead mice and rats, oftentimes they think that they're still alive at first, and they'll try to constrict for a short time before they actually eat. All snakes, when they eat their food whole, and usually when they start feeding, they feed from the head because it's smaller and allows their jaws to stretch and work their way open. Snakes are capable of swallowing things about twice the width of their own body width at the widest part. And to do this, they unhinge their lower jaw, which separates from the upper jaw, the maxilla, which helps them to get all the food in one gulp, essentially. And with that, we'll go ahead and show you some feedings. You can see how it's walking the upper jaw back and forth because of the rows of teeth there on either side. They use that motion to literally walk down the body of their prey. And of course the teeth are curved backwards so that prey cannot escape. And there it goes. She didn't really constrict the mouse this time because she realizes it's already dead and is quite small. And now she's done. It can take up to a week to digest a larger meal. This little mouse will probably be digested in about 3 or 4 days or so. And she's trying to constrict the rat now, even though she doesn't particularly need to. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Nature Talks today. When you go out in the woods or in other wildlands around your own area, please be aware of venomous snakes that may be in the area, and please give all snakes, regardless of whether they are venomous or not, their space. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comments section below, and I hope you'll join us next time for another episode of Nature Talks.